I'm Lisa, the artist behind Lachri Fine Art. It is Tuesday, so I'm here to critique one of your original paintings or drawings. If you have an original painting or drawing that you would like to submit for critique, head over to my website, lachri.com/critiques. That link is below in the video description, and you can submit your work there. Today's submission comes from artist Tiffany Stewart, who said she's only been dabbling in art for about 2 years at the time that she painted these. The blending on these is so well done. The transition, these are done in acrylics, and normally I don't critique two at the same time, but I just wanted to pull up both because you can see how strong her blending skills are and the way that she's able to fade on her hibiscus especially. I think this is really your strong point in painting. Your blending skills are beautiful. So taking a look at a few things we can adjust to improve on this even more, we're really going to be focusing on the portrait at this point. Now, I don't have your reference photo, but I can tell just by looking at this that as far as human anatomy goes, there are quite a few problems in your base drawing of the child. No matter how amazing your shading and blending are, which they're really great here, your painting is really never going to look realistic if that initial base layer is very far off. So that would be my first step, is to spend more time really focusing on getting your drawing exactly how it should be. There are two big things that I often recommend for improving your drawing accuracy. First is to trace. I know a lot of people don't want to trace your initial outline because they feel like it's cheating and they want to do it on their own. Here's the thing though, when you're learning, I think just tracing is such a good way to teach your eye to see things as they really are. And I have a video talking about the pros of tracing and how much I've seen it help students over the years. I'll have a card pop up here so you can check that out. But what often happens is students will keep drawing something, they'll draw it incorrectly, they'll draw it again incorrectly, they'll draw it again incorrectly, and continuously make the same mistakes. Some students will just start improving like crazy from drawing the same thing over and over again. But if you're not one of them, if you are not improving that fast, and even if you are improving, you just want to improve faster, try tracing. What you have to do is start teaching your brain to see things accurately. If you draw something incorrectly over and over and over again, you can hit a point where your brain starts to accept that as being correct, as looking right, even though anatomically it's not really very close. So by tracing, especially if you start off in the beginning, by tracing things, this is going to help your brain to recognize when something's off or wrong because you've done it correctly over and over again. And the end goal is not to forever have to trace. It's a tool, but it's a great tool for those who are learning to help you to improve that much faster. For those of us who can already draw, many of us still trace things just to save time. The end result's the same, so what difference does it make? A lot of people like to think that if they trace things, their work is going to be amazing and then that they feel like they cheated. That's really not how it works. If somebody cannot freehand it on their own, it's pretty obvious in the end piece. However, in that beginning learning phase, this will help you to notice things you were not noticing before, help you to see things accurately and get used to seeing them correctly so that you don't convince your brain that the wrong way of drawing it, where it's out of proportion, looks right. It's sort of like when I started learning to play violin as a kid. One of the big things they told us is when we went home with our instrument, do not touch it. Don't play with it. Don't touch it. They especially did not want us picking up that bow. The reason for that is when kids are learning to play any instrument, but violin especially, when you're holding that bow, if you hold that or learn to hold it incorrectly, it can be a lot harder to get the child to hold it correctly or recognize that that's wrong. If you can teach them to hold it correctly in the first place, it's just a lot easier for them to adapt to that or get used to that feel. And so that's what tracing is going to do here. It's going to help you to get used to seeing things accurately, to see things the way that they should be, versus teaching yourself that the misproportion drawing is correct. My next tip is to get some decent anatomy books. And I'm sure there's plenty of resources online that will give you this information, but this is a book that I have that I've really liked. It goes through proportions, things like the body that is this many heads tall, or the width of the head is this many eyes wide. Little things like that can really help you when you're drawing things out, because you know in your head, wow, my head is actually only 3 eyes wide. That can't be right. I need to back up and check my measurements. Understanding just the basics of anatomy. I mean, you don't have to become a surgeon or anything, but understanding the very basics can really help you as well in recognizing when something's off. The next thing I want to look at is the hair. It is super inconsistent. The hair is changing in color and texture as it moves from one end to the other. Very, very extreme, much more so than I would expect is probably how this child's hair is. I could be wrong, but chances are this is a bit more extreme lighting-wise and color-wise and texture-wise. So this is an area that I would work on. Just spend more time on hair. I personally don't enjoy painting and drawing hair. It takes forever. And the funny thing is, when someone looks at one of your portraits, they're always going to say, wow, the eyes look amazing. The eyes are the easiest part. The hair is what takes so long, and it just never gets the credit. But hair usually will take me as long, if not longer, than the rest of the face. And that's not fun. It's repetitive and tedious and necessary. You want to spend just as much time, if not more, working on the hair. Get it just right, because even if you get your face absolutely perfect, if you rush through the hair, it's pretty obvious and it can pull down your entire work. So definitely spend a bit more time in making sure you get the hair just right. Moving on to the mouth, you've got these little black dots right on the outside corner of the lips. Now you might have shadows there, but I would not go with black. I would almost never. There may be rare, depending on the lighting, instances where I would use black in a portrait, but no matter what skin tone somebody is, the color black is not one that I would use to mix that skin tone, to mix the shadows. Here, I would just darken up the colors you already have for the rest of the skin, just make them a bit darker. So like your magentas and browns mixed together there, that would probably be a better choice than just having black dots, because now my eyes are being drawn from the eyes, which would have black for the pupil. I'm being drawn straight down to these corners of the mouth, which is really not where you want your focus to be. Your blending skills, I am so impressed with your blending, and in acrylics, that is not an easy thing to do. Any of us who work in that can tell you. You've done beautiful work. Again, that blending is really impressive. So keep that up. Thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, I have new video critiques every Tuesday where I'm critiquing your original paintings or drawings, my own speed paintings, drawings, and tutorials every Wednesday, art Q&A videos every Thursday, and artist vlogs each weekend. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. All of those social media sites are linked below in the video description where you can keep up with news, my newest work, and see real-time clips of whatever it is I'm currently working on. I'll see you guys tomorrow.